All right, recording is back rolling, and there is your extra 25 minutes on top of the class period you had yesterday, which is pretty close to 70 minutes. That's an hour and 10 minutes you have for the math section. All right, so if you finish both modules, that's all 54 questions, then you are on pace for the real thing. Alright, so everybody should have a colored pencil. You guys all got colored pencils? Alright, so we're gonna go over the solutions. You guys keep score. Okay. Now in the grade book, I'm gonna have two separate columns. One column is going to be your score, but it's not going to actually affect your class grade. It'll just be there so you can know how you did. Okay. And the second column is just a completion grade, just having done it and graded it and turned it in. I'll give you guys some points. Okay. All right, so first question, you guys probably saw the pattern here too, which the first few questions are pretty straightforward and then they get progressively more difficult. So first question, lengths of two sides of a triangle, 4 centimeters and 6 centimeters. So if I draw that out, got 4 centimeters, 6 centimeters. Okay. Now there's a lot of different type triangles you could have with it, right? Because you could have all different angles here. Okay. Here, before I get to their question, sometimes I'll have my own questions because you never know what questions could lead into. Okay. So it's the third side of this triangle. Here, it takes a little longer. Try to get it more proportional. Okay. The third side of this triangle. Now, it could be a lot of different things because this angle could be anything here. Okay. Because what is the longest this third side could possibly be? Huh? What's the longest it could possibly be? Like, guys, could this be 500 centimeters? No, it can never be 500 centimeters. Could it be 50 centimeters? No, that's wrong. Could it be 20? No, probably couldn't be 20. Could it be 12? No. How about this? Because what if you made this angle right here like 179.9 degrees, right? Like almost 180 degrees. Could that look something like this? Got 4 here and 6 here. This could be 4. This could be 6. Right? And what is this side approaching? 10. You see 10? Right. So this third, okay. This third leg could be, well, if you take the two other legs and you add them together, this third leg can only go up to that number. So this third leg has to be less than 10 units long, right? Anyway, go back to their question though. They say the whole perimeter is 18 centimeters. So therefore, what's the third side equal to on their question? Yeah, has to be 8, right? Because 4 and 6 is 10 plus 8 gives you 18, which is the perimeter. So the answer to number 1 is B. Number 1 is B. Okay, you guys got number 1 is B? Okay. If you guys got any questions about any of these, then stop me. You know. Okay, number 2. They give you 16x plus 30 is 190. And the question is, which equation could have the same solution? Okay. So a lot of these, if you take a peek at their answers real fast, you can get an idea of the format they're looking for. Like they don't want you to actually go all the way and solve for x on this one. So what could be the same? Well, guys, could you subtract 30 from both sides? Or maybe I should ask you guys. You guys could have said you could do that, right? So that's, you got 16x over here, and I got 160 over here. That'd be true, right? And I think that's what they're looking for. Yeah, it looks like option C, doesn't it? Yeah, number 2 is C. Number 2 is C. Okay. Now, if they did want you to solve for x, what would the answer be? X is equal to 10. X is 10. Yes, it. Okay. Number 3. Got Ty. Set a goal to walk 24 kilometers every day. Prepare for a multi-day hike. He can walk at 4 kilometers per hour. How many hours? So isn't this basically distance equals speed times time, straight from this class? Distance equals speed times time. Okay. So they gave you 24 kilometers is the distance. The speed is 4 kilometers per hour. Okay, so time could be some number of hours, couldn't it? Like that. Can you guys solve that equation? And what do you guys get? 6 hours, right? Time is 6 hours. Right. Now, you guys see SAT format, they'll phrase it in such a way that it's just a number, right? Because they say how many hours, so the answer is 6. So number 3 is B. 3 is B. Number 4, g of x is defined as x squared plus 9. Okay. Before I even tackle their question, I'll make sure you guys know what this graph looks like. So let's do, got an x-axis here, y-axis here. Okay. If I had you guys graph that function, what would you draw? Yeah, starts at 0, 9, parabola. Okay. Here, let me get rid of this 9 for a moment. If you're ever not sure what a graph looks like, you can just plug in values for x and start plotting points, and the graph will emerge. Okay. So if you plug in 0 for x, or 0 squared is what? 0. Okay. So here, if I then 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9. Okay. So x squared by itself, y equals x squared looks like that parabola. Okay. Then if I add 9, all I have to do is scoot the whole thing up 9 units. So if you go back to 0, see 0 squared plus 9, it gives you this coordinate right here. This could be 0, 9. Okay. Then anyway, you can plug in a bunch of other coordinates, but this is the graph that's going to emerge. It's going to be a parabola with the vertex at 0, 9. Okay, that's it. All right, guys good? All right, so which value is g of x is equal to 25? So here, go up here. If I plug in 25, that's equal to x squared plus 9, right? Okay. Let's do 2 algebra steps. First step, subtract 9 from both sides. Gives you 16. It's equal to x squared. And the last step is to take the square root. So plus or minus 4. Okay. And does that make sense if you look back at this graph? Well, if I go out 4 units, 1, 2, 3, 4, or the other way, 1, 2, 3, 4, get like -4. Okay. On the graph, now my graph is not exactly to scale, but just to get the idea, right? This could be up here at like 25, right? Whoops, that could be 0, 425 and -425 and 425. Okay, yeah, that looks like it makes about sense. Right, so that looks like, see, is that A? Number 4 is A. Yeah, 4 is A. You guys get the 4 is A? I got another question for you guys. Maybe I'll switch ink color here. What if they said this? G of x is, what if they did this? X plus 9, and they just squared the whole thing. What would that graph look like? Now, it would still be basically a parabola, right? Okay, so if I go back to my original parabola, like this dash, you guys see the dash one? This is just very simply y equals x squared. Okay. Okay. Oh, but then what do you do with that parabola? The plus 9 tells you to do what with it? Shift it to the left 9 units. So go over here to -9, and then this parabola would look like this. You guys see that pink it lines up? Is that right? And if you weren't sure, then watch this. I can plug in a coordinate and show you guys. If you plug in -9 for x, which is, here's -9 for x, right? Wouldn't this whole thing zero out? Okay. And then that would match that vertex. Okay. All right. Okay. So you guys good? Are we good? Okay, number 5, which is equivalent to, got an expression here. Okay. A lot of these, I think it's good to just go ahead and solve it out and see what happens. Right, or see if you can find an answer choice that looks like whatever. Right. Like if you look fancy the answer choices, okay, it looks like something's been factored somehow. Right. So I see 2 terms, right? Boink, boink, added together. All right. So what's common to both terms that you can factor out? X, and only an X, because nothing else is you can factor out. So I pull an X out, I got a 9X left over from that term, and I just got a 5 left over from that term. Okay. Now, if you want to check your work, you can go backwards by distributing, and that leads you back to the original statement. So this should be the answer right here. Okay. You guys think? The answer? So that looks like A. Yeah, number 5 is A. You guys got number 5 is A? Number 6. They give you 10 different plant heights. So we got 10 different plants, measured all the heights, wrote them all out. What is the mean height? Okay. So let's talk about averages. Number 6, averages. Because they're asking mean here, but they could ask about mean. You might see a question next week about median. You might see a question next week about mode. So let's review all of these. So different kinds of averages, and each of these has a maybe a different advantage in different contexts. Okay, because what does it mean to take the mean? What is that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, add them all up and divide by the number in the set. So sometimes it's written as x bar. You can do the sum of all the individual x's divided by the number in the set. Let's go ahead and knock that one out real fast because that's the question they're asking. So I'm going to do open parenthesis and then add up all these plant heights. 6 plus 10 plus 13 plus 2 plus 15 plus 22 plus 10 plus 4 and 4 and 4. Then close parenthesis, divide by. Now I counted 10 plants. Do you guys count 10 plants? So I'm going to divide by 10 because there are 10 plants. That gives me 9. You guys see 9? Okay. Now this one was not multiple choice, and a number of these were not multiple choice. So you had to write the number 9. You guys write the number 9 on 6. Okay. And then since I think you guys are doing this on Blue Book next week, I guess you would type that. Okay. All right, everybody good? We're good. All right, let's go back, talk about averages then. So guys, what is median? If they asked median, how would you solve that? Here's what I would do. I would write all these numbers in order. So we start, okay, it looks like 2 centimeters is the shortest plant, right? And then 4 and 4 and 4, and work up to, it looks like 22 is the tallest plant. I would write them all in order, and then it'd be the middle number, wouldn't it? Okay. Now, since there's an even number of plants, I guess it'd be plant number 5 and plant number 6, and then you could take the mean of those two. That would be the median. Right? Now, median has certain advantages. Like, for example, median income is a common example application of median. Okay. So if there's a room full of 50 people, okay, and then Bill Gates walks in the room and say, "Oh, great! On average, we're a billionaire, yay!" Except, well, that would be in terms of mean, right? But in terms of median, well, just pick the middle person, takes persons with that context. Right? How about mode, guys? Well, what does mode mean? Yeah, most frequent number, right? And you can get that. Like, I bet somebody got to see the answer in 1 second. Guys, if they ask for a mode, what would the answer be? Yeah, 4 centimeters, because there's a bunch of plants that are 4 centimeters. Okay, number 7, a student council group is selling school posters for a fundraiser. They use the function P of X, so that's a profit as a function of number of posters sold, is equal to 5x minus 220. Okay. In order to earn a profit of $900, how many posters do you have to sell? Okay. Before we dive into that, let me make sure that you guys can read the music of this equation. Okay. Who can look at that equation and tell me how much are they selling each poster for? $5. Yeah, $5 a poster times the number of posters. Okay. Actually, this little bit right here, I'm going to call a revenue. Okay. If they sold 0 posters, how much money would they have? If they sold 0 posters, negative 220. Aha, they're in the whole $220. I'll call it the cost. Maybe it took $220 to like file the posters in the first place so they can sell them later. Okay, and here's your profit. Okay. So little simple economics equation. So profit is revenue minus cost. Okay, I see that. Right. Right. Go back to this question then. We want a profit of $900. $900 profit. I got $5 per poster times the number of posters sold, which we're solving for, minus $220. Okay. You guys know in this class they make a big deal about the units, so I'm writing all the units. Okay. 2 algebra steps. I'm going to say, add over the 220. That like 1120. $2, keep track of units. That's $5 per poster times the number of posters, and then divide both sides by 5. Okay, true. Okay. And you know what? I bet you can do this mental math. Because if you divide by 5, is that the same thing as divide by 10 times 2? Let's say, can you guys do that without a calculator? Because what is 1120 divided by 10? 112. And what's that times 2? 224. Yeah, that's the answer. So 220, oh, whoops, we got rid of dollars. Oops. 224 posters. Equals that. Oh, that was also not multiple choice. So you had to write the number 224. So number 7, if you got that right, you should have written 224. You guys got 224? Number 8, Jay walks at a speed of 3 miles per hour and runs at 5 miles per hour. Okay, makes sense. He runs a little faster than he walks. he walks for W hours and runs for R hours. So already we're getting some variables thrown around, W and R. Guys, what does W and R represent? Are those distances, speeds, or times? W and R, are those distances, speeds, or times? Times, yeah, those are times, how much time in hours. Okay. He's gonna walk a total of 14, or sorry, he's gonna travel a total of 14 miles. Which equation represents the situation? Now, glance at the answer choices. Okay, so you can see kind of the format they're looking for. Let's create this whole thing from scratch. So it's going to follow this basic format. Distance equals speed times time. Straight from this class. That looks familiar. Okay. He's going 14 miles. Now he can walk at 3 miles per hour for some number of hours walked, which is W. Plus, he can run at 5 miles per hour for some number of miles run, which is R. Okay, is that clear? Just like that? Okay. I wonder if that's the answer they're looking for. That's probably it. Oh, that looks like option A. You see my answer key off screen? Yeah, the answer is A. Number 8 is A. Okay, you guys see how to get A? Number 8. Number 9, John paid a total of $165 for a microscope by making a down payment of $37 plus P monthly payments of $16 each. Which equation could represent the situation? Okay. Yeah, this is another one of these questions where they could have you solve it, but they're not having you solve it. They just want you to set up the equation. Right? Can you read the music of equations? It's be a pretty common theme with these. So let's see if we can create this whole thing from scratch. So need $165 to pay for this thing. I'm going to say equals to, okay, how are we going to pay for this? Well, we got the $37 down payment, so I'll throw that on the board. Plus, I got $16 per payment times some number of monthly payments, P. Okay. Now, I guess you could drop the dollar sign, so that'd be 165 equals 37 plus 16P. Right. That's probably the answer they're looking for. A slightly different version is you could subtract the 37 off. So you could say $165 it costs minus 37. And then he's left with $16 payments for some number of payments. Could solve that. Okay. So I bet the answer is one of these. Probably. It's probably one of these. Let's see. You see any one of those. It looks like option C. Yeah, 9 is C. You guys got number 9 is C? Number 9 is C. All right. Number 10 says y minus 57 equals px. Okay. So okay, it says which equation expresses y in terms of p and x. Okay, we just got to solve for y. Y equals, oh, guys, it's one step. Guys, what's the one step? Yeah, add 57. So I got the px over here plus 57. Shouldn't that be the answer right there? All right, do I see that answer? Is that B? 10. Yeah, 10 is B. 10 is B. You guys got 10 as B? 10 is B. Number 11. A company opens an account with an initial balance of $36,000. The account earns interest. Ooh, you guys remember interest? And after some number of years, after 13 years, they're up to $68,000, which could define A. And again, glance at the answer choices, just to get an idea of where we're headed with this. And let's create the thing from scratch too. Okay. So I remember back from a math class a long time ago, the amount of money you have in the bank as a function of time is equal to the initial amount, Now, if no time has passed at all, that's the entire story right there. I just went to the bank, made a deposit, that's how much money I have, done. Right. But if it's sitting there accumulating interest after some number of years, I have to multiply by something. Okay. Does anybody remember how the rest of this equation goes? It's like 1 plus the interest rate, and then, now that could be after 1 year. And then every year that passes, we're multiplying another 1 plus r term. Okay. So I'm going to put this as an exponent because I'm multiplying. Okay. So for example, guys, if the interest rate was 3%, what would go in these parentheses right here? 1.03, right? If it was 3%, you call it 1.03 because percent is like over 100, right? And then if it was for, say, 4 years, you would put to the power of 4, because you'd be times 1.03 times 1.03 times 1.03 times 1.03. Okay. All right, so let's go back to their setup here. They told you the initial amount was 36,000 and some dollars. Dollars on that. Okay. They told you you end up with $68,000. Rounding a little bit. Okay. And that's because multiply it. Now, nowhere did they explicitly tell you what the interest rate was. But I bet you could solve it, right? You guys think you could solve it with the information there? You got 13 years. You could solve for R, right? Okay. But that's not what they quite had you do. If you look at the answer choices, they just set it up. In fact, what are they heavily implying? What is the interest rate according to any of the 4 answers? 5%, right? But out of those 4 answer choices, looking at the interest rate setup, 2 of those are correct and 2 are totally wrong. Right? Which, just looking at the interest rate of 5%, which 2 can you immediately get rid of? C and D. Yeah, because this is 0.05, right? But you have to add because guys, if this was only 0.05, that means that every year that passes, you're multiplying the amount of money by 5%. So you're getting less and less and less in a hurry. Okay? Which is not what's going on. You're trying to grow your money is what's happening. So it needs to be more than 1 inside here. So it's got to be one of the ones that says 1.05. Okay. So interest rate of 5%. There's 1.05 in there. If you start with $36,000, is that option A? Does it look like option A? Look at my key here. Yeah, 11 is A. Okay, 11 is A. All right. Okay, you guys ready for number 12? Okay, number 12. This will be the last one we do today because this is as far as I've been able to get with all my other classes. Okay, got the circle here. They're telling you circumference is, well, here in the back of my mind, I know circumference is 2 pi r. So maybe it'll be helpful, maybe not, but I'll keep that in the back of my mind. They told you a number though. It said it's 144 pi. This is the circumference. And we got these diameters PR and QS. The arc length PS is twice the length of PQ. Okay? Now pause right there because I got my own question that's going to help actually lead towards the answer. Okay? Guys, if PS is twice of PQ, who can tell me how many degrees is this little wedge right here? 60. Yeah, that's 60 degrees, right? Because isn't this 1/6 of the entire thing? And the big wedge is like 2/6 or a third, right? Because we got 1/6, there's 2 more 6, so it's 3/6. And then same thing over here, it brings you to 6/6, which is the entire circle, right? And so suppose you and your friends get together and you order pizza and you cut it exactly this way. Some of you are more hungry than others. Then the little slices, isn't that like 1/6 of the entire pizza? And the big slice is 2/6 or a third? Isn't that true? Okay, that's okay, right? And if you measure pizza crust, which is what they're saying, PS compared to PQ, that's what set up and led into this in the first place. Okay? Wouldn't it be true? This pizza crust is twice as long as this pizza crust. Okay. All right, so let's get to their question though. What is the length of QR? QR, which looks like the pizza crust on one of the big slices, which is what fraction of the total pizza again? A third. That's a third of the entire pizza. Ah, well, if the entire circumference, all the pizza crust is 144 pi, how do you get to this crust? Yeah, divide by 3. Okay, so I'm going to say QR. Is that what it? Yeah, QR is, I'll take 144 pi and very simply divide by 3 because it's a third of the entire story. Well, 144 over 3 is 48, and I still got that pi left over. Do that. Okay. That should be the answer right there. Okay. Looks like option B. 12 is B. Yeah, 12 is B. You guys got 12 as B? Okay, everybody good? All right. That is our pause point.